ve şiddet tutkunu değiliz.
Biz de zindanla da korkutamazsın.
Your country is in big trouble.
Teslim olmanın sınırı yok.
The Dem Party's high-level visit to the AKP marks a new round of cross-party contacts in Turkish politics after the PKK's 12th of May dissolution announcement. Turkey's Pro-Kurdish Dem Party has condemned the government's ongoing replacement of elected mayors with state-appointed trustees, calling it a major threat to democracy and public trust. At a landmark conference in Diyarbakir, veteran Kurdish politician Leyla Zana called on women to reclaim power and unity in the Kurdish struggle, urging trust in their cause and a stronger, organized leadership against oppression and assimilation. The European Union has imposed targeted sanctions on several individuals and factions, including leaders of Turkish-backed Syrian armed groups for their involvement in human rights abuses committed during the March 2025 attacks in Syria's coastal regions, which targeted Alawite civilians. Learn more with Medya News. In a rare and closely watched meeting, senior members of Turkey's Pro-Kurdish Dem Party and the ruling AKP held 2.5 hours of closed-door discussions in Parliament on Wednesday, a major development following the PKK's recent dissolution announcement. The talks brought together Dem Party co-chairs Tuli Hatimo Ulahru and Tuncer Bakran, with AKP officials including Efkan Ala and party spokesperson Ömer Çelik. While details remain limited, AKP's Ala said the discussions involved a broad evaluation of the political process. The process is continuing as anticipated, he stated. Everyone must contribute to building a Turkey free of terrorism. The meeting is part of the Dem Party's wider campaign of cross-party engagement in a shifting political landscape. In recent days, Dem Party leaders have met with far-right MHP head Devlet Bahçeli, the CHP, and conservative opposition groups like DEVA and Saadet. While it's too soon to gauge outcomes, the meetings suggest a tentative political thaw and a potential redefinition of Kurdish political participation in Turkey's post-conflict future. Observers say much will depend on whether dialogue translates into real reform, including possible penal reform, and whether Kurdish voices will finally be heard within a rebalanced Turkish democracy. Turkey's Pro-Kurdish Dem Party has condemned the government's ongoing replacement of elected mayors with state-appointed trustees, calling it a major threat to democracy and public trust. Speaking after a two-day council meeting, the party urged legal reforms to protect local autonomy and demanded the return of 10 municipalities where trustees were imposed after March's local elections. The Dem Party, which won 78 municipalities under its gender-equal co-leadership model, said the practice is part of a deeper political crisis. This is a violation of the people's will, the party declared. Without a public outcry, this anti-democratic model could spread beyond Kurdish regions. Among 7 key demands, the Dem Party called for repeal of Article 45 of the municipal law, recognition of co-leadership, constitutional protection for grassroots assemblies, and the lifting of Turkey's reservations on the European Charter of Local Self-Government. The party also framed the struggle as part of a broader push for radical democracy, rooted in ecology, feminism, and multilingual inclusion. Citing jailed Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan's call for a democratic nation, the Dem Party says true peace and justice will only come with systemic reform, and local democracy is where it starts. At a historic conference in Diyarbakir, or Ahmed, veteran Kurdish politician Leyla Zana called on women to take center stage in the Kurdish struggle for peace and democracy. Speaking at the first Kurdish Women Parliamentarians Conference, Zana urged unity, self-belief, and organized leadership against decades of state-led oppression and assimilation. The Kurdish women's movement must become consistently strong and organized, said Zana, the first Kurdish woman elected to Turkey's parliament. We must stand for our existence, not just demand brotherhood. The conference gathered women politicians from Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and the Kurdish diaspora. From northern Syria, Avin Swed, representing the autonomous administration, said their governance model is built on Abdullah Öcalan's vision of gender equality, democracy, and ecology. Former Iraqi MP Kurda Amer, who survived torture at 21, spoke of defying patriarchal barriers. They mocked me, but I persisted. Calls for cross-border Kurdish unity echoed throughout the day, alongside a shared determination to reshape politics through women's leadership. Delegates insisted that no resolution to the Kurdish question is possible without women at the forefront. As the opening session closed, Zana's message rang clear. Kurdish women are no longer confined, they are leading the way. The European Union has imposed targeted sanctions on leaders of Turkish-backed militias for atrocities committed against Alawite civilians during the March 2025 attacks in Syria's coastal regions. The sanctions list includes Abu Amshar of the Sultan Suleiman Shah Brigade and Saif Balud of the Hamza Division, both now reportedly senior officers in Syria's restructured military under interim President Ahmed al-Sharaa. Over 1,700 civilians were killed in the Latakia and Tartus assaults. The EU cited war crimes including torture, sexual violence, forced displacement, and arbitrary executions. The Sultan Murad Division was also sanctioned. All three groups were formerly part of the Turkish-backed Syrian National Army, but have since been integrated into Syria's new state structures. In parallel, the EU has lifted most economic sanctions on Syria, unfreezing restrictions on the central bank and key industries. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said the move aims to support Syria's reconstruction while maintaining pressure on human rights violators. The dual action signals a major policy recalibration, supporting Syria's recovery while holding accountable those responsible for past atrocities, including former proxies of regional powers like Turkey.
Medya News Daily Review.
Biz burada şiddet tutkunu değiliz. Biz de zindanla da korkutamazsın.
Your country is in big trouble.
Teslim olmanın sınırı yok.